Hello and welcome to this week's edition of CBTV. We are another day closer to the introduction of the world's biggest tax on carbon dioxide. You will of course recall that this is the tax that Julia Gillard promised would never happen while she was running the country. Such a monumental untruth begs the question of exactly who is running Australia. Well, it can't be the Australian people because they overwhelmingly do not want this giant green tax because they know it's going to hurt our international competitiveness and it's going to hit household budgets hard. I'd even suggest that most of the Labor government don't want this diabolical tax, given that it is as unpopular as Kevin Rudd at a Labor caucus meeting. So how did it come to be? Well, the only logical conclusion is that it was because the radical and extreme Greens Party have been effectively pulling the strings of the Prime Ministership and running the government. And after foisting new taxes and irrational programs on the Australian people, the architect of the socialisation of the Australian economy, Bob Brown, has decided to cut and run. It's mystifying to me why a man who craves the adulation and uncritical attention of the political spotlight is leaving the Parliament just hours before his carbon tax baby actually comes into being. Perhaps it's to distance himself from the unfolding economic disaster that this hybrid Labor-Greens creature will inflict on ordinary Australians. Or maybe the pressure of keeping the warring tribes of Greens senators in line simply became too much. The battles between the watermelons versus the environmentalists versus the show ponies suggest the Greens are as fractious and divided as Labor is. And the end result is a disaster for our country. The national debt is spiralling out of control, business has lost any confidence in the ability of the government, and families are struggling with little optimism for the future, and workers are worried about their jobs. This is not the Australia we should have to accept. We need a government that will not be captured by radical fringe groups, that can restore some fiscal sanity and give all of us hope and opportunity for decades to come. That government can only be delivered at the next election. This is Cory Bernardi, and you're watching CBTV.